Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the From a Certain Point of View podcast. I am Josh, one half of From a Certain Point of View, and you'll notice that my partner Adam is missing. Adam's been really busy lately. He got a new kind of job as a pastor at his church, and he's also working really hard on his basement because his goal is to get the basement done in time for us to watch ObiWan Kenobi this Friday. So I'm taking over today just for right now, just for tonight. And I'm going to do a few different things for this show. And the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of recap our last episode because it never actually ended up going out because of technical difficulties. So we apologize for that. But I'm going to give you a quick recap of what episode 127 would have been. And then we'll get right into this episode, and we're going to focus mainly on some news that we got in the last few days. Specifically, we're going to talk about the Vanity Fair article with Star Wars, and we're going to talk about Stranger Things in the trailer they dropped today, in addition to some other news. But episode 127, we actually discussed our one question to rule them all question from a couple weeks ago. Which May release were you looking forward to the most? And there was the Multiverse of Madness, ObiWan Kenobi, Stranger Things Season 4, and Top Gun Maverick. And that poll went to ObiWan Kenobi. So that was your winner. A lot of you are out there are excited to see Obi-Wan, and so am I. It is my most anticipated release as well. We also talked about the box office last week, and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness actually crossed 800 million worldwide, and it's projected to end up around 900 to 950 million worldwide, excluding China and Russia, where it's currently not showing, I'm guessing. So Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was still number one this past weekend. I would like to see that one again. I know it's been playing at our local drive-in theater, and I wouldn't mind going back to the drive-in again. But that is Doctor Strange, and that is the box office. Now, I do want to get into Vanity Fair. This Vanity Fair article, I thought it's very lengthy. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to dig into. I'm not going to dig into everything, but the title of this article is Star Wars: The Rebellion Will Be Televised, which is a pretty cool title for this article. You see that great shot there of the cover of Vanity Fair featuring where Star Wars is at right now, televised, Disney Plus. Star Wars has its focus right now. Lucasfilm's focus is on Disney Plus and its televised series. And it looks like their goal is to make sure that all these series kind of connect in some way, or at least feel like they're a part of this larger universe. Which of course Marvel was very successful with. But a few things I wanted to get into here is we can see some more images from this Vanity Fair article. And on the left, the image you'll see is Darth Vader, Reva or Reva, I'm not sure how to say her name, one of the Inquisitors, and Obi-Wan himself, Ewan McGregor. It says, in the new show, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Lord of the Dark Side, hunts his old mentor, setting up their fateful confrontation in 1977's Star Wars. Reva the Inquisitor, Moses Ingram, co-stars as a fearsome exterminator of Jedi, wielding a double-bladed spinning lightsaber. ObiWan Kenobi premieres May 27th, which is this Friday, people, and I am so excited about that. So that's Obi-Wan. And now we're going to look at some other characters here that are coming to Disney Plus. Mon Mothma is going to be a big part in the Andor series, it seems. It says Genevieve O'Reilly's Mon Mothma, Galactic Senator, secretly leads an uprising against the Empire. Diego Luna stars as a man who believes in nothing but eventually risks everything to aid the rebellion. Andor premieres late summer 2022. So we kind of learned here that it's going to be Obi-Wan, and then Andor is going to be late summer, so maybe we'll see that in August or September. And then we see Pedro Pascal's Din Djarin here. Mandalorian Season 3 returns either late 2022 or early 2023, so that'll be a winter release. Maybe we'll see that in December like the Book of Boba Fett was, or early January. My bet would be on December. And then we see Ahsoka Tano, played by Rosario Dawson. And Ahsoka is scheduled to premiere in 2023. So this is the upcoming slate. It's very exciting. And Andor also, Tony Gilroy recently spoke about Andor and what we're going to see in season 1. It primarily focuses on a Cassian Andor that is kind of in a darker stage. He's kind of more so on the darker side, and kind of like we saw him in the beginning of Rogue One take out one of his own men for the good of the rebellion. So I think we're going to see where he is in that stage of his life, as well as he's been in this fight since he was, I think he says, 6 years old or something like that. Since he was a kid, he says that line in Rogue One. So I'm excited about Andor as well, and all these shows coming to Disney Plus. There were a couple other things in this Vanity Fair article that I wanted to mention too, and as you can see here, there's a lot of cool shots here. Let's scroll down to our next image here. We get a look at Hayden Christensen appearing as Darth Vader. He has the cape and everything, and he is training for his lightsaber duel with McGregor's stunt double, Ross Constam. I'm not sure if I got that right or not. But it's cool to see Hayden back in action and kind of training for playing Darth Vader again. I know there's some people that are hesitant about this showdown, but I'm really excited for it, and I believe there's going to be a good reason for it as well. And then we have this nice shot too of just the creators that are behind the Book of Boba Fett and ObiWan Kenobi. We have in Mandalorian as well. We have Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow, Jon Favreau, Kathleen Kennedy in the volume. Going down a little bit further, there were some interesting quotes about the future of Star Wars. I thought were really interesting. One thing that was talked about was the new series called The Acolyte. The Acolyte is coming from showrunner Leslie Headland, who was the co-creator of Russian Doll, and she's been planning it for 2 years now, mostly from the confines of her home, it says. She says The Acolyte takes place roughly 100 years before The Phantom Menace. A lot of these characters haven't even been born yet that we see in The Phantom Menace. It says we're taking a look at the political and personal and spiritual things that come up in that time period that we don't know much about. My question when watching The Phantom Menace, Headland says, was always, well, how did things get to this point? How did we get to a point where a Sith Lord can infiltrate the Senate and none of the Jedi pick up on it? Like, what went wrong? What are the scenarios that led to this moment? And I think that's a really interesting way to approach this series. And I'm wondering if we're finally going to see Darth Plagueis the Wise. Or are we going to see him being this, he was a very powerful Sith. I would like to see that. I think that's one of my wish list things to see. Another new series on the horizon that doesn't have a title yet is actually coming from John Watts, who was the director of the recent Spider-Man trilogy. And it's created and executive produced by Watts and writer Chris Ford. They're casting, this is interesting right here. A casting notice has called for 4 children around 11 to 12 years old. The show is being described as a galactic version of the classic Amblin coming-of-age adventure films of the 80s. So I'm thinking Stranger Things and Star Wars, basically, which could be interesting. I mean, is this going to be 4 children who kind of discover that they have maybe Force abilities, or are these going to be 4 children that are being trained in the ways of the Jedi? There's a lot of possibilities here, and I think I'm confident in John Watts' ability to work in Star Wars too. Now, Kathleen Kennedy also had a couple interesting things to say in the Vanity Fair article. First of all, she said that as far as Kevin Feige's Star Wars film that he's producing, she says, I would love to see what movie he might come up with, but right now there isn't anything specifically. Now, I was under the impression that Kevin Feige's Star Wars film was going to be maybe written or directed by Michael Waldron, who wrote for Loki, and he wrote the screenplay for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but we'll see. She also said about the Rian Johnson trilogy that has supposedly been in the works, that he's been unbelievably busy with Knives Out and the deal he made at Netflix for multiple movies. So I'm guessing that trilogy isn't coming anytime soon, if ever. And Kennedy even went on to say about the upcoming film slate. She says, "I hesitate to use the word trilogies anymore because Star Wars is much more about persistent storytelling." So I don't know if this means their focus isn't going to be on trilogies in the near future. If we're going to get more standalone films or a series of films that are kind of connected, instead of trilogies, but take that for what it's worth. She also mentioned something that was interesting about, and I'm not really sure where it was here, about Solo. Here we go. So the 2018 movie Solo explored Han Solo's younger years, with Alden Ehrenreich taking on the role. It made less at the box office than the other live-action Star Wars movie. And Kennedy went on to say, "There should be moments along the way when you learn things. Now it does seem so abundantly clear that we can't do that." So I don't know what she means by that. Does she mean that they can't cast other actors in these, classic roles? I'm not sure. Again, take that for what it's worth. But all in all, I think this Vanity Fair article was excellent and gave us a lot of Star Wars information, for what's coming in the near future. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some of the news that popped up today. And first of all, we have a release date here for Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. It is coming to HBO Max actually much sooner than I expected, next Monday, May 30th. So if you're a Potterhead out there and you enjoyed this movie or didn't watch it yet, it'll be on HBO Max Monday, May 30th. That's coming soon. Now let's dive into a couple trailers we got today. First of all was the Mission Impossible 7 trailer, Dead Reckoning Part 1. I've been waiting a long time for this. I don't know what's going on, if they feel like maybe they can't release two big Tom Cruise movies in the same year, but this one's going to be coming to theaters July 14th, 2023. So let's take a look at this trailer.
Your days of fighting for the so-called greater good are over. This is our chance to control the truth, the concepts of right and wrong from everyone for centuries to come. You're fighting to save an ideal that doesn't exist, never did. You need to pick a side.
Okay, Dead Reckoning Part 1. So at first, I wasn't even sure this was a Mission Impossible movie. We get some shots of the desert and characters on horseback and everything. That was interesting, kind of different for this series. But then, we also get our first look at Haley Atwell in this film, which is awesome. And then towards the end, it really then starts feeling more like a Mission Impossible movie, and we get some familiar shots of places that we've seen in this series, and the familiar music kicks in and everything. So it's a nice little teaser. Didn't do a whole lot for me, but it's nice to know that they put this out there and it's coming next year finally. So There you go. And last but not least, I want to talk about this Stranger Things Volume 1 final trailer. And I am wearing this shirt for a reason because actually, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but this shirt happens in this trailer. What's on my shirt, it was such a cool shot where they like invert the camera, flip it upside down, and while they're riding on their bikes and everything. So, yeah, let's check out this final trailer for Stranger Things 4.
It's hard. Don't try to be heroes. There is no shame in running. Sir. What do you think, Mike? It's risky as hell.
So first of all, I want to say I really love like how they're huddled up there, and this trailer is all about that team feel, and I love that. You know, they're really working together as a team. It feels like this is really a team effort, even though we have these separate storylines going on. You know, we have Hopper who's in Russia. We have our main group who's still in Hawkins, and then we have our group who I think they moved to California, where Eleven and Will and Jonathan are and everything. So there's going to be these different storylines, but it really has that team feel. I think that's awesome.
Chances of success are 20 to 1. Never tell me the odds.
Okay, so we have a Han Solo quote right there, which is just amazing. You know, I'm sure we'll see lots of references like we have for other things in previous seasons. Here's the shot right here. I just love this shot. This is so cool. And they're in the upside down, but it's weird because it almost looks like a kind of a more put together upside down. I don't know what's going. It says the world. I don't know if these characters are going into the upside down. We're definitely going to spend a lot more time, it seems, in the upside down this season, which is exciting.
Bitchin', right? Yeah, bitchin'. We're a team. Friends. It's gonna be a test.
Well, I want to go back just a second because I noticed something on this backpack. There it is. I've been slimed. There's a pin on there. So another reference to Ghostbusters. That pin says I've been slimed. That's cool.
Friends. It's gonna be a test again.
That just looks epic and intense, and I love it. So yeah, so excited. That I thought that was a nice, short but sweet final trailer. The show is coming this Friday along with Obi-Wan. I couldn't be more excited. Like, I am such a huge Star Wars fan and such a huge Stranger Things fan. I've been rewatching Stranger Things. I'm in like the middle of season 2, and it just reminded me how much I love this show, how much I love these characters, how good the writing is, and the storylines, and the scares, and the nostalgia, the music. Man, I am just so excited and looking forward to that. So, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for this week's episode. And what do you think? What are you most excited for? What do you think of this Vanity Fair article? What do you think of that Stranger Things trailer and the Mission Impossible trailer? Let me know in the comments section. Stay tuned to From a Certain Point of View for all of your movie and TV news, reviews, and points of view.